Hey everybody, it's Ben here from the Bonehead podcast and welcome to Blood Bowl 7's Chaos Dwarf. So we're looking at all the teams available in Blood Bowl, whether it's the rulebook, the PDF from Games Workshop, Teams of Legend, or the expanded NAF teams. We're putting together some of the most competitive and fun rosters for you guys to run in Blood Bowl 7s. Blood Bowl 7s is a quick play version of Blood Bowl played on a smaller pitch with smaller teams in a much smaller time frame. Basically, you can get a game done in about 40 to 45 minutes, and that makes it my favourite way to play Blood Bowl, because you can just get game after game after game done. If you want to know more about Blood Bowl 7s, check out our Intro to 7s video, or watch one of our 2 seasons, 7 Super Series, on our channel, where you can just go and binge watch a ton of Blood Bowl 7s. It is the old rules, but you will get a really good feel for what 7s is all about. So today we're going to be looking at Chaos Dwarf teams. Chaos Dwarves are from the Teams of Legend PDF, and they are tier 1 and one of the most popular teams that don't have a released team from Games Workshop yet. Okay, so strengths and weaknesses of the Chaos Dwarf team. Bull Centaurs are definitely a strength. So Bull Centaurs are a weird kind of player. They're strength 4, they're movement 6, they're agility 4+, but they've got sprint and sure feet, so they're essentially movement 9 all of the time, which is a really interesting angle to take. Now, they've got no combat skills, but they do look very good with block, because they become some of the best kind of blitzers, I guess, in the game. They're just chundering around at movement 9, strength 4, and generally speaking have block. So they become really powerful whether you are breaking out. They become incredible fullbacks. Okay, they can protect you, and they can also just punch a hole whenever you want it. Ag 4+ means they're not going to end up with the ball as reliably as you would want, but when the Bull Centaur has the ball, that's basically a touchdown, because they are going to be able to brawl their way through and get that TD. Now, the other strength here that I've collared is the fact that the linemen are really quite good. Movement 6, Ag 3+, Armor 8 is not great. Sorry, Armor 8+ is not great, but they come in at 40k apiece, which means you can afford the more expensive players because your linemen are dirt cheap, and because they're dirt cheap, it doesn't matter if you wander around kicking people in the head, because if one of them gets sent off, you've probably got that spare cash to have another one on your bench ready to come in. So when the Bull Centaur knocks somebody down, they can follow along and just kick him in the head until they're gone for good. Now, weaknesses are that the team is kind of slow-ish. Now, we've said the Bull Centaur basically runs around at movement 6 to movement 9. I think you'll agree that's not particularly slow. And the Hobgoblins come in at movement 6, which is pretty good as well. They do have a Minotaur, which is movement 5, and the Chaos Dwarf blockers are movement 4. So they're slow-ish. They're not the most fast team in the game, but they're definitely not the worst. 140k rerolls means bad times all around, and the fact this team is tier 1 means you're not likely to get very many skills. 2 to 3 maybe, depending on your format, and the chances of them getting a secondary skill are again pretty slim. So do not be looking for the leader reroll here, because it's going to be very hard to get it on this team. No sure hands as well means you are probably going to have to spend a skill to take sure hands if you want, or you're just going to have to kind of hope the dice support you. So the first roster we've got for you today is the 2 Centaur reroll build. This one comes in at bang on 600k. So 2 Bull Centaurs, 5 Hobgoblins, and 1 reroll takes you to your full team. So the fact you've got a reroll is fantastic. In 7s, those rerolls cost double. So having that is a huge amount of your TV, but on top of that, you've still got 2 Bull Centaurs. Now, I know the Ag 4+ isn't ideal, but the Strength 4 Movement 6 in brackets 9 is fantastic. Now, we talked about skills on these guys, and I do think there's a few that you can consider taking. Straight up, block is fantastic on Bull Centaurs. It just is. It's just great for protecting them as ball carriers, because a strength 4 block ball carrier is really difficult to deal with. Kick is going to be really useful for the Hobgoblins to be able to keep that ball close, but sure hands maybe on one of your Hobs to make the most of that Ag 3+ could be something worth considering. But quite frankly, I think you've got that reroll, so when it comes to picking up the ball, you've got a better chance at it. If you've only got 2 skills, put them both on Bull Centaurs, probably block, maybe 1 block, 1 mighty blow to go for removal. This team is very focused on those Centaurs, and they are going to leave the Hobgoblins behind if you're not careful. But if you keep your team kind of packed in together, and then break out when you need to with a Bull Centaur, or just use the Bull Centaur to target things and murder, this is going to do really well. But let's add a bit more skills into this. So 3B Centaur reroll comes in at 600 again. So 1 Bull Centaur this time, 3 Hobgoblins, you still got that reroll, but 3 more players are going to be Chaos Dwarf blockers. So you do take a hit on your speed here. You've gone from 5, from 7 strength 6, from 7 movement 6 pieces to only 4. So those Chaos Dwarves being movement 4 is going to be significantly slower. But what you get out of that is tackle, thick skull, and block. So you change your team's dynamic here from being kind of all in on the Bull Centaurs to also having a Bull Centaur. You've got 3 dudes that are going to go toe-to-toe with almost anybody in the game most of the time. You've got 3 Hobgoblins with movement 6 and 3+ who can follow around and support, whether they're going to be just being supports or whether they're going to be doing the bull carrying. And then you've got a Bull Centaur who can be your pseudo big guy, okay? Huge range with those 9 squares, and strength 4 means he's going to be 2-die blocking almost anybody. And because he's not actually a big guy, a primary skill, 1 primary skill, makes that Bull Centaur a 2-die blocker all of the time, basically. So this is a massively controlling roster compared to the last one, but you do still have the vulnerability of losing a player. But it's going to be way harder for you to lose a Bull Centaur and 3 Chaos Dwarves than it is a team of 5 Hobgoblins. So this one, while less fast by a considerable margin, is way more resilient, and it's going to hurt much more. But that's right, this roster also has a Minotaur, but it's not just any Minotaur, this is an enslaved Minotaur. And enslaved Minotaurs, they go around, they Minotaur things, but they have got, not animal savagery, they've got, no, they do have animal savagery, which is not wild animal. This is the one where if you fail the roll, if you basically fail the wild animal roll, they punch a friendly dude and then merrily wander on with their life. So this Minotaur, as long as you've got him assisted with somebody, will never let you down. And that is massive. It's not great for the 3 Hobgoblins that you're going to use to kind of support your Minotaur, but the strength of this roster here is you've got 1 Minotaur, 2 Bull Centaurs. So you've got 2 strength 4, movement 6 to 9 pieces, 1 strength 5 frenzy horns monster, in the Minotaur. You've got 1 Chaos Dwarf blocker who's just kind of being your reserve, and you've got 3 Hobgoblins there who can wander around and just support you, doing stuff. Like I said though, that Minotaur, if you want him to perform, you need to support him with some other player. Because if you take a Minotaur Blitz and you roll that 1, he will lose all of his tackle zones unless you've got somebody next door to him that you're happy for him to punch. If you're happy for him to punch a Hobgoblin, that Blitz then carries on. That Blitz still happens. So this is a roster that is too strong for its own good. There is no need to have 2 Bull Centaurs and the Minotaur, but you can, so we wrote it. Or you could take this one. So 2B Mino reroll comes in at 590, so 1 assistant coach there to hopefully swing you an extra reroll on the kickoff result. 1 Minotaur backed up with 2 Chaos Dwarves and 4 Hobgoblins with a reroll. So this is kind of mid-range, okay? You've got 2 blockers, you've got a big guy blitzer, and you've got 4 Hobgoblins who are going to be pretty decent at maneuvering around and getting that ball for you. You've got that all-important reroll here for you as well. Now what you can do and just straight up do is just drop that reroll and take another Bull Centaur instead. You kind of max out your positionals at that point, and you do have that reroll gone, but you can just swap it up just that good. So if you're looking at this roster and you think, actually I'd rather have another Bull Centaur instead of that reroll, you can do it and just really hope to roll well on those kickoff rolls. So the idea of this roster is you've got those 2 Dwarf blockers backed up with those Hobgoblins. So that's the core of your team. And you've got the Terry Tate of Blood Bowl in the Minotaur running around as well. And because you've got 4 Hobgoblins, you do actually have a chance to use those Hobgoblins as stress balls for the Minotaur, basically. The Minotaur's having a bad time, squeezes the head of a Hobgoblin, and then carries on delivering exactly what you want him to do. Probably not the best roster, but it is going to be a great one to run. You've got the reroll, you've got 4 Edge 3+ players, you've got 2 Dwarves with tackle and block who are going to be able to position well, and you've got a Minotaur who is just a point-click removal monster. And the last list we have for you is the 4/4 reroll. So this one comes in at 580 and is potentially one of the safest builds that we've come up with here. So 4 Chaos Dwarves and 4 Hobgoblins and 1 reroll. It doesn't sound very exciting because it's not, but what it does do is it gives you 4 block tackle pieces and a reserve of 1 player as well, and that reroll. So this is going to be a slow roster. This is going to move forward at 4 squares a turn, and it's going to brawl with anybody you come across. You've got a bit of reserve there with the Hobgoblin, you've got a reroll. It's lacking that little bit of spice with a Bull Centaur for the movement, or the Minotaur for the strength, but it will perform pretty well and will go toe to toe with most rosters. So putting my love for the Minotaur aside, I think this is probably where you want to be in 7s with a Chaos Dwarf. You've got those 3 Chaos Dwarves who are going to do a great job of being your blockers. Movement 4 is slow, it's not quite so bad in 7s, and that skill, that armor and tackle just being given as a free roll is going to be really helpful in an environment where most people will use one of their 2-3 skills to take block. That's going to ruin somebody's day, and that's going to make you as a Chaos Dwarf coach very happy. You've still got 3 players with Edge 3+, you've still got that reroll, and then you've got one option at a semi big guy ball carrier. Okay, that kind of strength 4 edge 4 is a superb middle ground where if you need him to brawl someone, you can do it, and if you need to make a dash for it, you can do so. Sure, the 4+ is not going to be great, but it's better than a 5+, and it's got no nega trait, so it's a really interesting one. This is kind of a beautiful mid-range dwarf build. It's a little bit slow, you've still got the breakout potential, you've still got strength potential, and when it comes to skills and things like that, you can go sure hands on one of your Hobgoblins if you want to. You could even go sure hands on the Bull Centaur. I do think that block on a Bull Centaur is where you want to be, potentially guard on one of your Chaos Dwarves, sure hands on a Hobgoblin, and you're probably done, but that gives you a little bit of strength with the guard. Definitely some great combat skill with the fact that by that time you've got 4 guys with block, and sure hands on the Hobgoblin is just going to help you be able to pick up the ball when you need to, and the 1 reroll is going to save you. But when you've got 3 Chaos Dwarves who are merrily taking 1-die blocks and probably not needing a reroll, your reroll is going to be there for when you really need to do something special, whether it's a cheeky pass play, whether it's getting the ball to the Bull Centaur. You've got it in the bank, so you can pull it out when you need to and basically go on holiday. This roster here, I'm thinking, has got enough strength to pull off a 2-1 battle most of the time. I think this is probably a 3 or 4 win team out of 5 games, and it's not going to lose very often. The weakness here is the slow movement of the Chaos Dwarves, and once those Hobgoblins are gone, if anybody can take out 2 of your Hobgoblins, you are going to be hobbled, because you suffer on movement and agility at that point. So if you're playing against this roster, take out 2 of their Hobgoblins, they've only got 1 left to do stuff, and it's going to be tough. But you are going toe to toe with one of the best removal teams in the game here. They just are. They get to free roll those dice. So it's going to be a brawl no matter what happens, and I am looking forward to seeing this on the 7s pitch, but preferably on the table next door, so I can watch the carnage while still doing elf things. Anyway guys, let me know what you think of Chaos Dwarves in 7s. I think this is going to be a decent team to brawl with. Yeah, let me know what you think, and we'll be back soon with more Blood Bowl content. Thanks for watching. Happy blocking. Thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to support the show even further, please like and subscribe. It really helps us out. Or come and join us in our Patreon, link below, where you get early access to our content and monthly competitions. See you later.